Hey, what is up, my fellow addicts? Welcome back. Today we are doing the Snell 3.0, brand new 2024. Let's dive in. All right, so here at Golf Ball Addict, we love Snell golf balls. Love what they did last year with the rebrand. They now have another minor rebrand this year, changing their MTB Prime series from the MTB Prime and Prime X into now the 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. The 2.0, of course, being a two-piece urethane golf ball. Urethane, yes, I did say that correctly. We just got done reviewing that one. If you haven't checked that one out, be sure to check it out. And then now we're moving on to the 3.0, which is their three-layer golf ball, designed really at what it claims on the website, the average swinger. It says that it's for most swing speeds, which those types of golf balls usually end up actually doing pretty well. The Vice Tour is kind of an example of that, where it's for all swing speeds. They put it in a general compression area, give it a lot of spring, and it works out usually pretty good for most of the time, to be honest with you. I get a lot of ball speed and a lot of just rocket off the club, so hopefully that's the case here as well. The biggest thing for me is that they kept the price that they have continued to have. A lot of inflation lately, and I honestly felt like I thought it was going to go up. Most golf balls have. The Vice have. You know, your AAA lineups have. Most golf balls on the market have seen a price increase over the last couple of years due to the COVID inflation, and actually the Snell has avoided that. I don't know how, but they've done an amazing job of keeping that direct-to-consumer feel, and the whole point of direct-to-consumer being, of course, the pricing, making sure we, the consumers, get a great deal because they're not paying all these ridiculous fees to tour pros and all that. Dean Snell really understands that well, and the fact that they have kept this at $33 a dozen, that's right, I did not mispronounce that. They've still kept it at that point for a urethane three-piece golf ball by a well-known, not a well-known golf ball maker, but arguably the best, arguably the most important golf ball maker of all time. So incredible deal there. And then, of course, if you order them in volume pricing, you can get them for $31.99 a dozen, $30.99 a dozen, or even if you do 5 boxes or more, you can get them for $29.99 a dozen, which, again, for a three-piece urethane golf ball is a steal. I mean, you just can't find many golf balls like that. That's half of the price of the Pro V1. It's insane, and it's by the same guy who designed the Pro V1. So, I mean, the value just keeps rising. So we know that's really good. Let's dive into the design of the golf ball. Now, I've been very adamant about how I love the new Snell rebrand. It still looks good. This is the all-black model. I think I like the all-black model the best, to be honest with you. Great logo, looks good. Dimple pattern's okay. It does look a little cheesy, but hey, I'm not going to harp on the dimple pattern. It does feel really good. It feels like they have a good coating of urethane on there, and it is sticky, which I like. Coming over on the side to look at the alignment tool, Snell updated their alignment tool last year to this, lines on both sides with Prime 3.0 arrows in the middle. I like that. It's simplistic. It's not over the top, but it allows you to see, if I kind of put here, it's a good alignment tool. So I love the design. I love what they've done. All the boxes seem to be checked here, so yeah, I mean, Snell gets a passing grade and then some. So let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see how we do out there. Really well here. All right, so Snell 3.0, let's get some chips here. Let's see how it does. I expect it to be a little bit better than the 2.0. Okay, let's try again here. Let's get a little more, good strike there. Okay, definitely a left jolt there. Okay, so that's definitely different than the 2.0. And I did the same thing. Boy, a lot of spin on that golf ball. Wow. Let's try the putting motion real quick. All right, so the main thing I noticed when I was testing the 2.0 versus the 3.0 is I noticed the 2.0 had some stopping power, a little bit of stopping power, but it released pretty straight and firm. It had some forgiveness in there. This one was not the case. I actually definitely closed the face a little too much on one of them, and I saw it jolt to the left. That might be your main difference here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my putting motion now. Try a little bit of chip, but just get the shoulders involved. Yeah, so I mean, not a ton more spin. I really don't think the spin as far as backspin is much different. Really good there. That was a good strike. Yeah, okay, that one stopped on a friggin' dime. All right, so the 2.0 felt really soft, squishy. When I putted it, it just had a tiny little bit of feedback. I expect the 3.0 to be a little firmer than that just because of the amount of layers. Wow, no, hold on, holy cow. Okay, way too far. Let's dial it back a little bit here. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. Okay, okay. One more time here. Huh. All right, so now we're gonna do the blade putter. Hopefully, maybe there's a little bit more feedback here. Okay, so there we go. All right, a little more feedback, which is what I expected. And then, yep, same there, a little more feedback. Very good in the hole, okay. The third, really focus on a good strike here. Yeah, okay, so it does. It has that feedback. All right, so with the Snell 3.0, I expected this golf ball to feel a lot like last year's model, which was, you know, firm, still had a tour feel, but, you know, it was a traditional style three-piece model. That's not the case here. It actually felt a lot like the 2.0. The 2.0 felt very soft, very squishy, very minimal feedback and click off the putter and the wedge. That's exactly what I felt with this one, so it kind of threw me for a loop when I was first testing it with the wedge. But what I did notice is that the backspin is pretty close to the 2.0, the main difference is the side spin. There's going to be a lot less forgiveness. If you close the face a little bit, it's going to jump left on you. If you go a little bit right, it's going to jump right on you. I do think it has a tiny bit more backspin, but boy, not much, to be honest with you. It's pretty close to the 2.0. When it came to the putter, as far as how the putter felt, with the mallet putter, it felt exactly like the 2.0. Very soft, very squishy, minimal, tiny feedback. You have to really listen for it. When I would come back barely and just tap it, the ball would roll forever, which is awesome for beginner, intermediate players, even some advanced players. Just being able to barely come back and get the ball to roll 8, 9, 10 feet is a really good quality to have. Now, once I got to the blade putter, that's where I started to hear that click a little more predominantly. So I'm just making a guess here. I don't know the compression of the two golf balls, the 2.0 compared to the 3.0 compared to the 4.0, but what I would guess is that the 2.0 and the 3.0 are actually very, very close. The 3.0 maybe being within five compression of the 2.0. It just feels that way, it reacts that way, it acts that way. But overall, I'm still really impressed. I think that there's a lot of forgiveness here. I think most golfers are gonna really love the way it feels. And I like that Snell went a little softer with it. Last year, they had a really more traditional style, firmer feeling, Pro V1, 2003, 2004 style of feeling. It's not the case anymore. It feels soft, it feels fun. It's forgiving, it's squishy. That's actually something that I don't expect from Snell, but they did a really good job with. So hopefully these numbers as well translate when I go to the full clubs. Okay, so let's talk about the feel of the golf ball across all clubs. So there is a significant difference in this feel compared to the Snell Prime in the past. Snell has always had a very traditional style feeling. You know, the old Pro V1s that had a lot of click, and they were, I mean, any golf ball really maker from the 2000s that was more of a pro model, it had that true responsive feedback. It was loud and clicky. And now we've kind of shifted away from that a little bit, but that's even last year's Prime model had a little bit of that in it. It still was pretty firm, and there wasn't much spring off the club. Now, I loved it because the numbers were still good. They weren't fantastic, but they were good with the Snell. But the feel and everything overall, I just didn't feel confident with it at times because I'd hit it, and you know, some golf balls you hit and you square up and you just know, you're like, oh my goodness, I felt that just fly off the club. And sometimes you hit them and they feel a little dead, and that's kind of how Snell's always felt. I haven't been a huge fan of how it reacts off the club. That has changed this year. This golf ball feels totally different. It has a balanced feel, a little bit of click to let you know feedback, but for the most part, a little bit of bouncy ball in there. I mean, it's almost like, you know, I talk about the spectrum all the time. You have bouncy ball and then you have firm, you know, traditional. It's right in the middle. It takes the best of both worlds. It has a little bit of bouncy ball effect in there when you hit it right in the square middle. You know it, it takes off, it feels good, you get a big smile on your face. That's what I like to see. So I love what they've done there. Maybe they've lowered the compression a little bit. I know it's in the 80, 85 range. That's actually kind of the sweet spot. I mean, high 70s is usually where I really like it, but low 80s is awesome. So it feels fantastic, comes off the club well, and it gets rid of that old traditional style feel. And I've looked through some of the user reviews on the website as well as other places, and it seems like a lot of people seem to like it a lot better. And it is better. I mean, when you can hit the ball and you get that confidence, it makes a huge difference. And that's how like Vice and the Wilson Zip and all these golf balls that make it really high on our list, that's one of the reasons why. Because boy, when you hit it, you know it, and it feels really good and it gets addicting and you want to do it more. So really great job there. Now let's just hope that these numbers translate. So let's start off with the 50-yard pitch, of course, just doing spin, 7,246. Now, what I notated on this is that that number itself is really just okay. It's just okay. Most of the time with a tour level golf ball, I'm going to get 8,000, 7,900, 8,100, somewhere in that range. The reason it was so low was forgiveness. Essentially with forgiveness when it comes to the backspin, some golf balls, the Vice Pro Plus, you mishit them a little bit and you still get 7,500 spin out of it. Some golf balls like this one, you mishit a little bit, you're looking more like 4,000, 3,500. That makes it pretty difficult because if you're someone who is not a great wedge striker, you don't really come down on it and really hit it clean 9 out of 10 times, it will punish you. Something that you think is going to go hop, hop, stop right next to the hole is instead just going to shoot to the back of the green. And so that makes it very difficult for intermediate or beginner golfers. You have to be someone who really can control their wedge shots well because, again, could I get 8,000 with this golf ball? Absolutely. Could I get 8,500? Absolutely. But you mishit it a little bit and you're at like 3,000, and that's such a huge disparity. So a little disappointing there, but again, if you're a great ball striker, don't think you can't get the spin. It will spin. Let's get into the 9-iron now. Now, of course, starting off with the smash factor, 1.25, which is, I haven't been doing smash factor for very long, but that is really good compared to what I got with the 2.0. The 2.0 was 1.20, of course. So 0.5 higher. Really love to see that. 131.3 with your distance, 131.4 with your total distance. Those are amazing numbers. I mean, that's anytime I average over 130, that's something special. That's about 6 more yards than I got with the 2.0, and that's saying something because those soft golf balls usually perform with short irons a lot well. The softer the golf ball is, usually on a short iron where I'm not swinging as fast, it usually compresses a lot better and it really shoots off the club farther. 9 times out of 10 that's the case, but not here. This golf ball responded really, really well to the short iron. 131 is nothing to scoff at. I love seeing that. Getting back to that, 101.9. Boy, we just keep breaking records, on the, and as you can see from the swing speed, it's not that much high. I don't even think, I'd have to look, but I've been trying to keep the swing speed within a mile per hour of everything. So the swing speed is not ridiculous, but yet somehow I got 101.9, which is just incredible. We've only broke 100 a couple times on the channel. Love to see that. That's just amazing. And of course, 7,319 on your spin, which is well above average. That's going to stop. That's going to come back at you a little bit. Really impressive numbers there. I mean, we've been so blessed to test so many great golf balls during the first part of the season. I kind of chose all the golf balls I know would be good. But still, regardless of that, the Vices have been amazing at this. This golf ball now to break the ball speed record again. Amazing spin, coming back at you, getting ridiculous distance. I just love to see it. So let's hope this continues with the 7-iron. 1.3 on your, which of course is 1.30 on your smash factor. That's the same I got with the 2.0. 157.7, gained about 4 yards there from the 2.0. Love to see that. 159.1, that's well above average. 113.9 on your ball speed, that's above average. I love to see that. 5,864 on your spin, which is right in line with mid, nothing bad to scoff at all. And 18.2, it launched a little lower than mid. So again, those numbers might not be as eye-popping as the 9-iron, but they're still really good numbers across the board there. Comparing them to our, golden child golf ball right now, which is the Vice Pro Plus, pretty close. I mean, the Pro Plus did beat it in 7-iron a little bit, extra mile-an-hour of ball speed. Distance-wise, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to look at it here. Distance-wise, though, actually the Snell 3.0 beats it. So the Snell actually gets more distance, but it actually has a little bit less ball speed, almost by a mile an hour. So that's interesting to see there. I love to see the distance. It might have been because of the spin. Really close. I mean, really close numbers across the board. All right, getting into the 5 hybrid, we have a smash of 1.39, which with the Snell balls, that's the highest one I've gotten with a 5 hybrid. That's just incredible. 180.2, 182.4, both great numbers. 125.1, 5,327, 15.6, so it launched mid. So you know, with those numbers, again, these numbers are great. You know, they're 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, somewhere in there. They're not eye-popping like that 9-iron was, but they don't have to be. I mean, if you have consistently gained distance across the board with all clubs, what else could you really ask for? You know what I mean? Not everything's going to be a record-breaking setting club. You know, I wouldn't expect that. So let's finish it with the driver. We know it can make or break it. Let's get into the smash. 1.49 on my smash factor. That is by far the best I have gotten with any Snell ball. It's just incredible. 234.3. Wow, you know, not as good as the Pro Plus, but pretty darn close. I love to see that. 242 on the total distance. I gained 9 yards. Love that. 144.1. That's 4 mile an hour higher than my average. 2,416 with my spin, and that's, of course, just slightly higher than average. So, again, it's getting up in the air. It's spinning a little bit. Love to see that. And then it did launch very, very high. It did want to launch high, for sure. I was having trouble keeping it down. Part of me wonders if maybe that's the reason that I didn't get as much distance as the Vice Pro Plus, is just because it was up there ballooning a little bit more. It's possible. I would probably, if I was going to use something like this, I'd probably have to turn my driver loft down a little bit just to make sure I don't float it too much. But still, distance numbers incredible. Spin numbers really good. Ball speed's awesome. That's what I like to see. So really impressive there across the board. So there's really no weakness when it comes to the performance, other than the spin on the forgiveness on the spin with the 50-yard pitch. Boy, you have to really narrow that down, don't you? Okay, I want to talk about real quick durability before I get into my final thoughts, my closing thoughts. Durability, of course, I mentioned in the last video, it's been an issue with Snell in the past. Long story short, I had never experienced it. Some of you still haven't. Some of you have. It's one of those lemon things where sometimes you just get a couple Snell balls and they fall apart like a $2 watch. Why that is, I don't know, but it is the case with Snell. So with this time around, I've really been putting these through extensive testing. I've been putting them through, instead of 70 shots like normal, I put them through 100 to 120 shots, and this is kind of what I came up with here. All right, if you look at this golf ball, I mean, as you can see, most of it looks like it's in pretty good shape. There's a couple scuffs, and you can feel the scuffs. That's my problem with it, is you can feel them. My main concern, though, is if you look on this side over here, you might see it, but you can see part of the paint kind of starting to scrape away. And again, this is the problem I ran into with the 2.0, and spoiler alert, I'll be honest, I ran into it with the 4.0 too. But if you look there, right there where I'm showing you on the camera right now, you can see that paint kind of chipping up a little bit, coming off. That seems to be pretty common in all the golf balls from Snell. And my worry is that after a round and this happens, is the ball going to roll true still? Is it going to have a consistent flight? Is it going to have a consistent roll? I wouldn't be able to guarantee it. I almost would say it probably wouldn't, just based on that. I do believe that the durability has gotten better. Snell's using a different cover this year. It's an upgraded model of the cover, urethane cover they're using, and it feels good, but it's not 100% there yet. I don't think you're going to see any major issues like last year's model where you hit the ball one time and there's a giant cut, that's funny. Cut golf balls, the Cut Blue specifically, they have this issue where you hit it one time and there's all these cut marks from your grooves and the ball's trash. That's kind of what was happening to some people last year with the Snell. I don't think that's the case this year. So far in my testing, I have not been able to replicate getting just massive cuts. This is really as bad as it gets, is that paint kind of coming off. And you know what? To be fair, it's after 100 shots. I'm only going to probably put up 80 on a normal round anyway. And once the round's over, yep, you have to get rid of the ball. So it's not a bad durability score. It gets you through a whole round. But really, after the round, I wouldn't go further with it. I wouldn't be able to verify that it's still going to perform consistently. So in conclusion, Snell has done a wonderful job. They've tried to fix some of the issues they have, ergo the durability. They took that more firm, traditional feel away and added a little bit more spring in the step. And overall, I'm really happy about what they did, because I did like Snell golf balls, but I'll be honest, the more golf balls I test, the more I feel this more springy, balanced, feel, the more I was getting addicted to it. I love playing with golf balls that have a lot of spring and rocket off the club. It's a lot more fun. It feels a lot more better. And so I have kind of put the Snell to the side a little bit, even though it is one of my favorite golf balls. So them switching to this style I think is a lot better. It feels awesome. It performs really great. Really the main thing was just spin around the wedges and stuff. Make sure around the green, in order to play this golf ball, you're going to have to make sure that you strike it well. It's not going to forgive you on miss hits as well as some other golf balls would. Other than that though, 9 irons record breaking, great 7 iron, fantastic 5 iron, good driver numbers. Across the board, performance was awesome. Little bit of a hit on durability. But as far as the design, as far as the value it brings, everything that Snell has tried so hard to do to keep its reputation in the direct-to-consumer market, it still does really well. I can't believe they kept it at $33 a dozen. That's just awesome. Snell also runs all kinds of sales all the time. Right now, I think for Father's Day, they have free shipping. So, I mean, you can just get free shipping regardless. Love what they do. I do think that Snell is the #2 direct-to-consumer option at this point. It's just hard to beat this new Vice line. This new Vice line came out, and you know, if you didn't see any of those reviews, go check them out. Holy cow, just incredible. But I feel like that kind of cast a shadow over the Snell. I don't want anyone thinking the Snell's not amazing. It is. It's really great, but after we just got done testing possibly the new #1 ball on the channel, everything's going to look a little weak in comparison. Of course it is, but I still think this is a great golf ball. I think could potentially be in my top 10 at the end of this year, or whenever I update the top 10 list. Maybe I'll do it halfway through the season. I think it could have a chance to be in the top 10 for sure. I will tell you it will be higher than the previous model. They've definitely made those improvements. So if you're a Snell fan, check it out for sure. You're going to like what they've done. And then if you don't know which one's for you, the 3.0 or the 4.0, wait around. The 4.0 is up next, so we'll be reviewing that one. I'll also dive in and do some comparisons and show about you know, which crowd's going to be for the 4.0 and which crowd's going to be for the 3.0. So stick around for that as well. Guys, as always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time, thank you so much.